stuff happening. And Dmitriy said he could come around this time. And it's very exciting to have him on the channel today for this stream. So it's a really exciting. I'm awesome to have him on here. How are you going today, man? Have you? I bet your weeks have been crazy with Overworld looming.
It's actually pretty good. Thanks for having me here. Really looking forward for that. So let's have a good chat. Like I'm open to any of the questions.
Yeah, awesome. So we're gonna ask you very difficult questions.
The first thing we've absolutely got to ask is Grant said that was the last showcase before Overworld. I'm seeing that message pop up like every 2 messages in the freaking Discord and stuff. Can you give us a bit more insight into that? Honesty, not honesty, do whatever you want. Just like what's the take on
that? Yeah, okay. So what he said, it's 100% true. Like, I don't think he will do any more showcase this year, especially So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's kind of it. That's all what I wanted to answer. But I get what you're asking. So, look, it's pretty much what he said. Take it that way. Okay, so it's pretty much what he said. So.
Dmitry, I want to ask, man, because we've actually heard we've heard like a lot of times from Kieran and things like that where we've got the arena out, we've got the Overworld coming up very, very soon, Illuvium 0. With the Overworld specifically, and Kieran's kind of mentioned, once we have all 3 of these things out, just read through the lines, guys. It means that open beta is just coming out pretty soon after that. With that in mind, like with the Overworld in its current build, like what percentage would you say it's done for when it's ready for the actual open beta? Is it like 70% of the way there? Is it 80%? Like what would you say? Like is there a lot more work that needs to be done?
Of the Crimson Waste in particular, or are you talking like all the other 3 regions as well?
Like whatever is planned. Yeah, whatever is planned to come out.
Well, for the open beta, we'll always plan to start with 3 regions. So that is Abyssal Basin, Crimson Waste, Brightland Steppes, and Sanctum Mesa is your homeland. So Crimson Waste, like as you saw from all the streams and stuff, it's looking pretty good. We are pretty happy the way it is right now. So like obviously there is a couple of bugs here and there is a couple of holes here and there that got to shut down, but overall, it's pretty good. Abyssal Basin, again, like from multiple of streams from Grant, you saw the stage. We just got to populate the minerals, we're going to populate the harvestable plants and illuvial wakes in the region, and it is also in a very playable state. So I'd say we are on track with our internal plans. In like, obviously, I'm not going to give any dates. So don't even ask me about that. So
when, man, when?
very soon. Like obviously, like it's gonna take at least 3 to 4, 5 months to polish it up, and then all the QA on top, all the kind of devs on top, and all that stuff. So we're looking next year. Or like obviously next year, nothing gonna launch this year on Abyssal Basin or Brightland Steppes, but it's coming along.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
What I can say is, Grant and I are pretty happy in terms of the state at the moment of the Brightland Steppes and the Abyssal Basin, which is good.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah. We're not stressed. We're not stressed about it. So
that's really good.
I hope that gives you enough.
Will they be playable for the beta coming out potentially in December? Will they be playable for that? The other 2 regions?
No.
So just Crimson Waste?
For that beta, it's only 1 region. It mainly like to test out the loop, give you guys that taste of how you can go in and capture all that stuff.
Yeah,
just give you a feeling. And as soon as another region is ready, we're gonna add it in. For the testing.
And Dmitry, I like, obviously me and you have done some beta testing on the inside and things like that. I don't think people realize or understand how big like Crimson Waste is. Like it's actually incredibly big.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Like it's gonna take, it kind of looks small if you run just like from the one tunnel to another, and don't worry about that. But like as soon as you start getting into those smaller tunnels, there is multiple of places where you still can get lost, and we need to kind of put some signs there, some sort of directions for you to navigate a little bit better. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good in terms of the size, and like for the beginners, I think it was the right choice to start with this region. Like it doesn't require any extra movement, any extra mechanics. So like you only go jetpack and boots. That is enough. So you learn your basics there, and it's perfect.
Yeah. I actually like the fact that we do feel a little bit lost, just because it feels like you're stuck in the cave and you're like, oh man, how do I get out? Like there are points, and like I've played it for a few hours now, and I still get lost. Like I actually get lost. I'm like, yo, I don't know where I am.
But like, look, there is already some of the Easter eggs that's been placed. Couple of them at least for sure, and I found them like
That's
randomly. Cool. I wasn't aware of those. Like one of those was what was the character like? I forgot the name. The Walker.
I don't know.
God damn! It was like one of the early concept art, and we're still
I know the one, like the Frobobo one, right?
It's like a head with the legs.
Yeah, with the legs. Yeah. You found that? I didn't know.
Yeah, I found it like completely random, just running down. Like, wow, okay, so these guys put this stuff in, and
No, that's so funny. We kind of went straight into this, like jumping straight into the overall questions. But honestly, Dmitry, we actually want to learn a bit more about you and your story as well. So, like, can you tell us a bit about yourself? How did you get into crypto? What was your story before crypto? And then we can kind of lead into how you got into Illuvium and everything like that.
Well, crypto, I think it's everyone else, 2017 when Bitcoin crashed, and we're like, oh, should I buy? Should I not? So I started looking into the crypto that age, that year, but didn't really get into that. So like I stayed away, been just overlooking, and then everything crashed even further. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, it's just a scam. And then like a proper dive into the crypto happened with the Illuvium. So that was my doors into the crypto.
And
I'm still a newbie, like in terms of all the crypto stuff, but learning a little bit here and there.
Yeah. And so, what were you doing before crypto, man? Like, because obviously you're saying that crypto is your first really foray into crypto is Illuvium. So before that, what was like? Because you've been working with Grant for quite a while, like.
It's quite a story. Like the way I met Grant, like he had a previous business with the CGI like tutorials and stuff. So I was one of the students.
Right.
I actually bought that course, and through that course I met him, started chatting to him, and by that time he started the course, he's still been working at Cream Studios here in Australia, one of the kind of best CGI studios in Sydney, and they focusing on a print advertising. So as soon as his business started growing up, he left the company, and that's how I got the job offer. So like I came here, met him in person finally, and we kept doing all that stuff together. We've always been into the CGI tutorials, into the all the R&D and stuff. So and that's also how I ended up in Australia. And I never thought that I ever will be in Australia. I'm kind of like, because Australia is so far away, it's like somewhere there where the rest of the world, on the other side, it's like, I was never looking into that direction, but like there was a good call.
Absolutely. And what was your like CGI artist before? So you said that you were learning from Grant and doing that course, but like, were you learning for a reason? Was there something that you were working on before that?
It's I'm from the country where there is no kind of CGI thing. There's people don't know what is CGI. So everything what I learned, I'm self-taught, and his course was kind of my next step, because like back then, there wasn't many of the tutorials. You either got to spend a lot of time just clicking each button and here and there, or you buy some of the courses. That's been very rare to find. that you can actually learn something. Most of the course has been really bad, So
yeah.
money grab,
Mm.
and all this stuff. So and that was I was doubting Grant's course. I'm like, because I didn't knew him, and just course pops out. There's some cool images. I'm like, is it worth it? Like is he really gonna teach me like what he knows? But turned out he's one of the best, So.
So that's the thing with the internet, right? The internet has so many opportunities and potentials, but there's so many scams and things you need to be worried about. And it's like if you can find that one, your life can change for like forever. But that's the tough decision. You need to get banned a few times to find that one.
100%.
I feel there's a lot of self-determination as well. You really want to be able to, you want to learn that thing. And if you don't have that passion, that drive, you give up too early. And I've tried to learn lots of skill sets and given up early. And I know a lot of weird skills that most of them go together and some of them just don't. But I've tried to learn lots of different things. The one thing I've never really tried to learn is game design. I can use most CAD software, a lot of all that sort of stuff. But game design, mesh sculpting, I can't do that yet. I'll eventually learn it. You just watch. But it's one of those. It's really hard to get into, and it's one of those things that I haven't quite had the drive to do it yet. And there's a lot of that. Like you can't just learn off one person either. Sometimes you get once in a blue moon, you get someone like Grant that's like got all the skills and all the knowledge, and is a great teacher as well. That's obviously the next part of the puzzle there. But it's very rare to find one person that could teach you the entire skill set. I'm curious though, what were you doing before you decided to learn how to do CGI and these sorts of things? Were you working somewhere else, or were you studying, or?
Well, like I started doing CGI when I was at uni, like on a third grade. I kind of switched from like I've been studying programming back in uni, and I was kind of not bad at it, So. But then it started getting a little bit too boring. I'm like, I just need to find something else. And I saw something, like early days Photoshop tutorials, it's like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I want to learn how to do that. Kind of that drove the passion into, and everything turned into, being a real profession. So I still graduated at uni, I still got my diploma as a programmer. Barely use it these days.
It's the same over here now. Like I have an education degree, and it's like, I'm doing nothing with education anymore. It's like, what is the point? It's funny how life is like that.
I feel like programming is such an interesting one. I haven't learned how to code very much, and it's a skill I want to develop over time if I don't do game design first. But coding or learning computer languages is such an interesting one. I do generally consider it as a similar skill set to learning a second language like Chinese or Italian or French or whatever. It's different in its own thing, but it can really help you do other things faster in the same way that if you go to another country, you might be able to learn some other things faster and things like that with that language. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, man, like don't get me wrong, like programming would have been learning that I loved it. And I still like it, like I still kind of, when I'm reading some of the codes on some stuff, not quite often, but like at least I still can understand some bits, some logic, because I've got this base. And the only thing where I started looking into the CGI and computer graphics is like lack of the teachers, like in our uni, like after the third grade, they want that experience, and all the kind of softwares they were teaching us is already been outdated. For me, go learn myself something for fun, which was this computer graphics, or just go learn some some computer languages, which also was fun, but kind of visually, I've been more attached to the graphics and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So the last thing I have to ask, because I know Grant does watch these streams sometimes, is he as talented as everyone says? And if you had to rate his skill as a CGI artist out of 10, what would you say?
Oh man, like as a CGI artist, he's amazing. Like he's amazing. So like out of 10, probably like 20 out of 10. Jesus. As organized person, as he said in the last showcase, like 2 out of 10.
It's
all over the place, but yeah, he does the job, and it's great. So like, he thinks out of the box. That's the biggest thing, and this is kind of, I'd say, the biggest what I took from his courses, courses, like not to be stuck in that kind of orders.
I think it's important, right? Because that's how you test things and go outside of that. Otherwise, if everyone's following the same rules, everything looks the same. So I think that is super important. And I think I was going to ask you a fun question, but I think you already answered that. I was going to say, what's the hardest thing about working with Grant? You kind of mentioned organization. Is that really the hardest thing about working with Grant?
No. The hardest one is to catch up with his time. I believe he leaves at I don't know, probably using a moon calendar or something. So it's always shifts and
like he'll be awake like 3 days and then sleep for 4 days. Like and that's very fun. All right.
But that's great. That's actually a good one, you know. So like when he's on a rush, I love to catch up with him and be awake at the same time with him. Probably just do some stuff together, because like we've got so many ideas flying around, and we're trying out a couple of things, and it's just amazing. And then we can just slow down a little bit.
Like how does the collaborative stuff work inside of like Unreal Engine and the other tools? I've used cloud stuff all the time, but it's different for every software. I'm curious on how easy it is to use, or can you like work on the same world at the same time?
Like we streamed a couple of times with Grant. We literally in the same, like, you gotta be in the same network. Like, we didn't have an office. It's been a little bit harder because like you gotta set up all the VPN and stuff. Just emulate your kind of local network, and we still could do that, but it wasn't that optimal. In the office, we are on the same network. Just log into the Unreal. There's like a little bit of the setup, but not really hard. And you literally can see an avatar floating in the air, and you can just view from his POV, like see what he's doing. And it's really amazing when you do this kind of collaborative work, when you need kind of different opinions, different decisions, and just doing different stuff. So very cool.
We won't know if it's fixed until you speak to SG.
Oh, right. Okay. Am I good?
Yeah, it seems better. Better.
Yeah, cool. Yo, VPN. Sorry, guys. It's what happens. It's what happens.
I didn't know if it was just my end or everyone else could hear it as well.
Yeah. No, my VPN's been acting up, and I need to find the right like region for different things. Like streaming is one thing. Like it's a thing. But anyway, yes, yo, Dmitry, I want to ask, man, because I don't know if because it seems like you touch everything in Illuvium. But like, what is your actual role? What are your actual responsibilities? And like, because you seem to be everywhere. Like, I know you do Illuvium 0, Overworld. Like, you're touching everything. Like, what do you actually?
No one knows. No one knows. No one knows. Like, I would describe the stuff, but like, I still don't know how to kind of find a proper role. For me. So basically, like late, in this year, I started helping Grant with the more of the art direction. So like I moved up on a kind of helping to guide the team, because all the processes already been set up. But before that, like everything, whatever be needed, we did everything, like from early R&Ds, setting up the workflow. And this is I'd say, was my biggest input into the Illuvium, where like I've set a couple of workflows that team is using now, and I don't really need to touch it. Only like in rare cases I would just go in and just check what's going on, but overall it's just running. And at this point, like all the offline renderings, probably like some promotional stuff that what I do usually, like on a everyday basis. All the NFTs, helping with the art direction, and it's a lot of things. Like jumping in between. So like with the IZ, for example, when we started uplifting the graphics, like we needed to do that, but like how to make it, go into the production line, how to make it work as someone else will join the team, could pick it up. That was my input on IZ. I'm like, okay, so there is a little bit of the R&D because like there is 83 buildings per region. There are 7 regions. You don't want to do a lot of manual work. You're gonna do a lot of kind of automate as much as possible. And this is what I did for the IZ. So now like whenever any changes can be done like really quick.
That's cool.
And now we've got Connor working on the IZ. I teach him how to use the whole system, and he's easy to go.
Yeah.
So awesome. I'd love to know how the priorities are structured, right? Like even in my company, we have trouble figuring out what to do first and what to do second. And in your case, you guys keep getting products added, not anymore for the past 6 months, but there was a time when you guys kept getting new products added, things like Illuvatars out of nowhere, right? So how are you guys internally structuring your priorities to figure out where the artists go at any given time? It's like, is there someone higher up or someone managing all this that's just knows really well what to do, or you're all figuring it out as a team? Like, is there a big structure there?
Well, like there is like 2 levels of these sort of decisions. The first level is our admins, like our CEOs. They do decide on a kind of bigger scale of what is going on and what could I go first. And then like we do have our weekly leads meeting, like our weekly heads meeting, where we all get together, set up the task like of what is need to be done, and we set up some priorities there. So like based on that, we decide further. So like there is bigger decisions coming from Grant, Aaron, Kieran, and Johnny with Danny, and then like we sorting out everything done below.
So do you want to answer this one for us from Ricky Tan quickly? What is your favorite thing to work on?
And we'll say what's the hardest as well. Do both. What's your favorite thing and what's been the hardest thing?
Well, like the favorite is Illuvium, even though it sounds cheesy, But I like everything. It's everything is different, and this is also like what kind of ties with my previous background as well. Like in working in the print industry, you only got like a really short span of each project. It's like basically 2 weeks. You got to do that, scrap, go into another, and this is like what I've been doing in Illuvium as well. I'm focusing on multiple things and just swapping them around. Nothing really gets boring, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
And what's the most difficult thing to work on?
The most difficult was like out of everything what I've worked at Illuvium, the most difficult was Lynxes.
The Lynxes. Yeah.
That meant to be, like some quick and easy, but turned out the most hardest one. So, because like the production line that we had with all the Illuvials, it didn't work out that well with the Lynxes. So like we had to redo them so many times.
Yeah.
And so like everyone got frustrated. But like I felt a little bit uncomfortable in some cases where, like going back to the guys and asking them to redo some stuff for the 3rd, 4th time. And then, just like.
Yeah. Actually, that leads us to a good question, actually. With that in mind, like, again, we've kind of learned the whole, like, let's not do an octopus with eight tentacles. That's really hard to do. The lynxes are really hard to do. What are some of the lessons that you've learned, or the design team has learned that they're really looking to avoid moving on to like the future sets or future regions or future games moving forward?
I don't think. I mean, like there is always will be something really hard to do, but like do you give up?
So you just do it.
just find a way to do it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So we can expect more octopus and more like 10 legged.
Well, like we got 3 octopus, right?
Yeah. Oh, we will get the spider then, the 8-legged one, right? We'll get the spider.
Yes.
Yeah, or the centipede. We need a centipede, make it a bit harder.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine a massive centipede? That's the devs would kill us. The devs would be like, nah, like we're not. The artists would be like, nah, that's not happening. Something that I've been thinking about, man, is like this is something that baffled me watching you and Grant set dress the Overworld. And like we kind of mentioned already, it's so damn big. But like, how do you even like approach that? Like, how does the sheer scale of that just not like? Yeah, what's the thought process? Because it's a blank slate. It's kind of like looking at an empty canvas. And then how do you go into that? Like, what's the thought process there? What are the steps to that? Because for anyone that's not a part of the team or not part of that industry, we look at that and we're like, man, no, like,
yeah, but
like what?
we learned a lot. We learned a lot on the Cruiserways. Cruiserways being redone multiple times as well. So like, it's if you dig into the early streams, it looks completely different. And by that time, we also didn't have like a proper concept art of every single piece. So like we're still being in the developing process of the concept art, but like we already needed to do all the blockouts. Like for the Cruiserways, we needed to start high-res models and all that things. So like because we approached everything in one go, we had a lot of issues in the Cruiserways. Now it's way easier. So like we just go into the concept art team first, they ideate the whole thing, the whole region. They do multiple of passes of different concept art from different angles whatsoever, and that would work as a base. Based on that, like taking only that description and taking like the concept art, our environment team, they go and do the blockout. So like a great example is the sharp love that Vanya been working on. Like, I mean, it's simple shapes, right? Like, but you get an idea. Okay, so there is a mountain, there is a mushroom, there is like, I don't know, lava or whatsoever. But it's very simple shapes. But like, she followed whatever being done by the concept art team. So like, all the big shapes are there. She followed the description. Now, what is left? We just do high poly models, chuck it in, and replace the low poly. That will be much easier. But like it is always hard to start from blank canvas. It is the biggest the biggest thing. Like you just don't need to be too scared about it. Like you just start. Obviously, you gotta put yourself into the mindset that I'm gonna start. There's gonna be probably like 90% I'll redo.
It's just throwing things out there.
You just gotta start with something.
So we do have a super generous super chat here from Walking Feather, and she says that Aaron liked her idea for set 3 alluvials to be mythical creatures inspired. Do you think there's any chance? How do you guys even decide what the set is going to be based on?
I don't know if that's a council thing at this point. I mean, set 1 was definitely. I don't know if it's.
We have been discussing it to a degree as well, but the council has kind of like been discussing the idea of it's still ultimately going to be up to the team. Sorry, my bad. The structure of it is going to be really interesting to see how the council goes about these sorts of things and things like that. But like, would it be possible for the team to do it, or would you like to do mythical creatures?
I would love to see it. I would like unicorns, phoenixes, centaurs. Like that'd be sick.
At this point, it can be anything. We just need to make sure it kind of doesn't break the lore of the game. That's the most important. That's it. If it fits within the lore, then fine, whatever. It can be, spider unicorn,
Yeah. It could,
be anything.
Yeah, we could do things, and like there are so many. Like this has actually been pretty funny, but I used to be I won't say I used to be. I was a big fan of Vampire Diaries when I was like a dope show, and they came up with this new show called Legacy. It's like it's a random thing. But like every episode, they bring in like a cyclops or like a troll or something like that. And I'm like, that show alone could very easily be good inspiration to be like, all right, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one. Like a banshee or like a tree lady or something, like a tree warden. Like there's so many ideas, and you can just go through that and be like, these are the mythical creatures like phoenixes and things like that.
The first set we tried to keep it, like a little bit earthy, but not too much. We're still being based, like all the alluvials been based on some creatures on the like living on the earth, but obviously modified and tweaked. Like for the future sets, why not to do something else?
Yeah. It'd be really
Again,
exciting.
Aaron may kill me after that, but like I just don't know.
Aaron might kill all of us, man. Aaron might kill all of us after that. But what's your favorite? What's your favorite? Have you been playing? Like, I know you're super busy, and I know, like, even dude, honestly, I haven't played Order Battle in like months.
Yes.
But like, have you played? Obviously, you've played, but like, what are your favorite alluvials? What are your thoughts on where the game stands currently? Like, what are your thoughts and feelings on the actual product? We're talking about how you build the product, but like, what are your thoughts on the product that is available for the public right now?
Well, I'm pretty happy. Like, there is not much to say. I'm pretty happy with the result.
Yeah,
like the devs guys done an amazing job. Our team did amazing job. Like everyone, like in the insane amount of work, and like the product speaks for itself. So like, I remember back in a cryptocurrency conference here in Australia, like I literally didn't. The biggest thing I spoke to people is about the economy. No one really asked any questions about graphics or whatsoever. Like, and I was just staying there, like, look, want to try, good to go. And so that kind of that opened my eyes a little bit of what people may think of the game, because like obviously like working on the product, you pick up like every little things, and like you see in our internal chats, like whenever I'm testing some stuff, I'm going like and nitpicking really like small bits and pieces, and it may feel annoying, but like
but it needs to be done.
Yeah.
So,
and overall, I'm very happy.
Yeah, what was some of the feedback, man? Because I didn't go to OzCryptoCon. Both of you guys did, but obviously you guys would have got different experiences being internal, Dmitry. What was some of the biggest feedback that you got from, like, good and bad, from the public?
Well, I may be lucky enough that I didn't hear anything bad.
Okay.
So like, and we had all the big screens there. People were looking into that and like, wow, there is some amazing graphics here happening there. And so I think the greatest feedback was one of the kid that he came 2 days in a row and played like hours.
That's sick.
I love that guy. He was really funny.
That was great to see. I'm like, okay, so if kids get addicted to that means we've done something.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think I was saying in my video, just the video I put out yesterday, about like the Overworld. I personally, just because we have so many things to do, I personally didn't think that I was going to be like very excited about playing the Overworld without the NFTs, because I was like, oh man, I have things to do. I need to value my time. I can't just play for fun. Like, it's just, I just can't do that. And then I started beta testing, and I started to tell everyone, it's like, yo, I need to do another hour of beta test. I need to do another 2 hours, because I just wanted to keep progressing in the game. And I was telling, like, the Overworld is not perfect, like, absolutely not. But I think it speaks to what you guys have built in regards to like the fact that it is somewhat addictive already in its state. It's like, yo, you want to go out, like you start off with a set amount of shards, you use it, then you're like, okay, your brain automatically thinks, okay, I need to collect resources. Then you go back and then you create the shards again. Then you're like, oh, I have more shards. Let me go back and use all of my shards and then collect resources. Like, your brain is automatically, like, you're leading the brain into thinking like what you need to do next. And then it's like, oh, I caught, and then you see like you catch 2 of the same alluvial. Then you see another one. It's like, oh, do I catch a different alluvial or the same? Like, I can see all of the things that are working psychologically, and I'm like, oh
and
my god.
And now imagine like, I think as soon as we like launch as open beta, holding these NFTs to your own wallet is gonna be like a completely different thing. Even like now, I'm playing the Overworld, and I get what you're saying. It's like you do this grind, but like for what? It's just gonna go. You're not really owning that. But that's still cool. Like as we introduce these skins now, like I started grinding towards skins. I'm like, I want these skins because I know how good they look. I want them. So, yes, it's great. I mean, I spoke to Ben about it as well, and he's afraid that people are gonna say, game is too boring. Like, we sort of expecting that feedback from certain people. They certain guys will say it is boring, but like we know that, and we already planned next steps how to make it more fun. So that is not even a negative feedback. This is a feedback that's already been known. So
I think the biggest thing. Sorry, Scott. I'll say this and then you can take it. But I think the biggest thing here is like in regards to the fun factor. The truth is, in today's world, we need PvP. Like for it to be fun, it needs to have PvP. So until we have that, we're going to get the feedback of like it's going to be exciting for a while. I think Overworld is going to be more exciting than Arena. That's just what I think. Like people will be happy with it for longer. But there will come a time where like, yo, we want PvP. We want like that's going to be the thing where if we can take our alluvials we've caught from the Overworld and battle with each other, no one is ever going to complain that it's not fun anymore, because that's when it's like the strategy comes in. Like that's the longevity. I think that one implementation of PvP will change the entire trajectory of.
I mean, I don't think we're really far from having a PvP. So like as Aaron said, it's the base underlying system is there. Just gonna modify it a little bit, and we're gonna have it. And like how crazy it was when Andre, like our environment tech other guys, he's like, well, you actually can grab the alluvials that you caught and use them in your next battle, in your next round. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
that's happening. That's like, that was kind of like mind blowing.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think most single player games even have those elements already. I mean, Pokemon's a prime example. You go through and you play through the story and you finish it and then you're done. That's the game. And the only reason anyone comes back to it for the most part, unless you completed the Pokedex, and even then, that's a very small percentage of people. The reasons you're coming back are to playing the competitive scene and play with the Pokemon you caught against other players online. And as long as we have those elements in Illuvium, in the PvP arena, in the Sendin or whatever, I think it definitely has legs to stand on. But I do agree with TSG that the PvP is probably going to be that core feature that needs to be not boring, or make sure it's not boring at all and it's super engaging. And then that will keep it running at least until Overworld becomes even more engaging. But I talk about it in my newsletter, but I talked a bit about co-op as well. I think some even minor co-op functionality could go a long way, because not everyone wants to play PvP, and PvP might be a little bit sweaty, to put it simply.
Yes, I get it. But also, like showcasing your deck. Like I'm working with Grant at the moment on like finalizing the holo look of the NFTs, and we're like looking at the latest result. Like, okay, so this is something cool, and it kind of makes you feel to go in and find another hologram. So like having all the 150 levels on your kind of wallet, just animated and doing some weird stuff.
With the holos, like two questions. I actually don't know these answers. Two questions. One, are there going to be holos in the private beta? And two, in the open beta, when we do get holos, are we going to see them like when they're on the board? Are they going to be? Do they look different? Is it easy to spot that is a holo?
Yeah, 100%. Yes, 100%.
That's sick.
So like in game, as soon as you put your holo character in, it's gonna have holographic effect.
That's sick.
Game. Like early on, that was like super rough test. So I did like probably a year ago, and it was kind of not looking the best, but good enough. We just need to put a little bit more R&D into that. So yeah, man.
Was that the seer?
Yes.
That was the image of the seer. That's the one, right?
Yeah. It was just one image, and like it was just literally 5 minutes test. Since then, I didn't have time to put more time into the holographic look. But 100%, we're gonna make them look amazing, because like Man, you gotta flex your $10,000 character. Like
Yeah.
throw it in, and it's like, yeah, suck it up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It'd be so cool. Like to have the NFT being hollow, like that's cool. But like when you're playing it and you can like, it's just obvious that that is a hollow. I think that will just be like, yeah, like you say, it's the biggest flex being, and especially if you have a team of like 4 hollows or 5 hollows, everyone's like, yo, who is this guy? Like, what is going on? It's just a hollow board.
Imagine.
Yeah. No, that's nuts. That's nuts. Man, I hope I hope when we get the internal PvP, I hope that me and you can practice a little bit, man. Well,
I suck at the auto battlers, so like
I haven't played in 2 months. I don't play TFT. I haven't played in 2 months. I'm horrible. I keep telling Dick's having these competitions in Cucka's Cave, and I keep telling him I'm going to beat him. I have no chance of beating him. I have no chance.
I actually had the chance to jump on the auto battler this morning, and it might be crazy to say, but I go like, I can't be bothered playing it today. I don't want to play it today. When I jump on and I play a couple round or whatever, I'm like, crap, this game just feels good. There's not much you can say about it. I've played TFT a long time, and it's hard to explain the big difference. Like, really, the game's core mechanics are not that widely different. And obviously the creatures and the graphics are all way better, but I'm not talking about that. It just feels really good to play, and I still can't figure out for the life of me why. But I think it's a combination of lots of little things. You know what I mean, Dmitry?
Yes, interesting. Like all the mechanics, I'd say, and all the kind of first what you see is like all the graphics, and then once you start digging into like deeper into the gameplay itself, like all the different compositions and different mechanics of the different levels, and like seeing the mammoth coming in soon as well, it's like just moving a little from one side to another. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? Like, I saw that, I'm like, I couldn't believe, like, because I didn't read, like, especially for the mammoth, I didn't read the description of what this level is. And I'm like looking at the movement, I'm like, that's insane. It kind of, and it started to make sense, like why it has such a big brain.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite. That one and the Komodo dragon. Yo, can you tell us what the Komodo dragon Omega is? I don't think that's been like. If you can't, I understand, but because that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
No, so I thought it
it's going to be leaked soon.
Oh, it's going to be leaked soon. Okay, cool.
I thought it got revealed really recently. I can't remember what it was.
Are we trying to?
It was just a passive effects. It was just a passive effects.
Yeah, we're trying to trick Dmitry. Oh, it was leaked already, man. Like you can just tell us now.
I know it's been leaked. I'm following that.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes it's crazy, man. Like something gets leaked, and like, where did that came from? And
Kieran.
Just go through
the answer is always Kieran.
not even Kieran. It was like going to the Twitter space and like, okay, and like, yeah. Insane. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to track. Sometimes
it's I don't know how you guys do it.
Like we're not hiding anything. So no one really cares.
Yeah. But those are the two that I'm really excited for: the mammoth and the Komodo dragon.
A big thanks for the donation, Heron. No, I'm super excited for the poodle moth. Apparently, it does like a carpet bomb and everything. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. There is plenty of like other characters. Like I don't know how many do we have at the moment in auto battler?
80.
We have 155 in the auto battler if you include all the T0s.
Yeah. But I think it's like about 80, right?
Still a lot to come.
We're missing 50. I think we're missing 50 in total.
Yeah,
that's so much, man. That's actually like so much. That's crazy. Yeah,
it'll be interesting for sure. Sometimes you forget, like, because the deck, what does the daily deck have? Like 30? That's 1/5 of everything available.
And just keep scrolling, like of what to get. And it's amazing.
Well, how long do you think? Okay, like, so we agree that the product is dope. Like, there's no running away from that. Again, we understand the Overworld, even with what it is, it's really good for what it is, and it's only going to get more polished from here. The auto battler in the survival mode, like the mechanics are good, the graphics are good. We just need to make sure that PvP is good. And if you follow the track record of Illuvium, it seems very likely that that's going to be the case. So if we go along and say everything that we pump out is good, Illuvium 0 being that thing as well, what do you actually think? Like, how long do you think we're actually going to take to start onboarding people? Like, what is what is your hope? Because you're the one developing this. So like, because it's going to be impossible to expect, in the first month, we're going to get millions of players. But what is your actual hope, like for you, Dmitry, yourself, like personally working on this? Like, what are your hopes there?
That's hard to say. Like I don't like I'm trying not to build any hopes around this. As in, like, it can be crazy in the first couple of weeks, or it can be suffering a couple of months or whatever. I'm trying to stay a little bit away from building any hopes, like
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be okay with it, like if it takes? Because I think like I'll be honest. Like, I think it's gonna be super quick. I think it's gonna take time for us to actually get the IP out there and get exposure. I don't think it's gonna be a quick thing.
Because maybe at the moment maybe I'm
pessimistic,
crypto guys, right? Like it's mostly like everyone who's playing is more or less involved into the crypto, and like we didn't even scratch the the Web2 gamers yet. And this will be hard based on their on their feedback about all the crypto stuff, about all the crypto games. I'm not expecting it to be easy, even with the great product. Like they're still gonna be like, I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But I think they will be a little bit more careful and not gonna jump into that straight away.
My audience already knows my thoughts on this, but there are so many factors to consider. The obvious ones are things like revenue distribution, if successful, could literally make ILV go against the grain, which is enough to pick up all sorts of attention from all sorts of people. You have the other side of things where there's marketing to still do, which hasn't been done for Illuvium yet. And if that's successful, they could bring in gamers, because I guess the ultimate idea is that if it is a good game, you don't need that many gamers in to word of mouth reach other gamers and things like that. So there's a whole audience there that could definitely come in rather quickly if the game proves itself to be good. And maybe it's not quite there yet without being an MMO. But there's definitely elements there that they could prove for it to be a good game. And then you have the other side of things where Axie Infinity blew up because people were making money. I'm not saying anyone's going to make money, and always do your own research, but I mean, if it does start making people money, it won't take much to get attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, see, this is what we're trying to step away a little bit at Illuvium now. Like
I agree.
Like money shouldn't be your kind of main focus when you're playing the game. Like we're building the game to have fun, and for people to enjoy it, and then I actually earn some couple of bucks here and there. So and this is become your like a good bonus, you're having fun and you've got a good bonus. But like if you're coming directly for the money, obviously there will be people for that, doing that, grinding for their money, and which is okay as well. At least like, but our main goal is to create fun experience, instead of like just come into the Illuvium to get a couple of $1 million or so.
A couple of million, like it's nothing. No, I think I agree with you, Dmitry, like 100%. Like again, when people go to buy like Pokemon cards, they don't go to buy Pokemon cards saying, I'm gonna be rich. Like they want to buy it to collect it, they want to buy it to play with it, and then maybe there's a valuable card inside, but most of them like are less than the actual price that they paid. And it's just that they're doing it for the fun of it, for the passion of it. And I think that's exactly what, I don't know, maybe that's what I'm looking at Illuvium as well. Like that's kind of the way that I want to go. It's like, all right, the IP is cool. People like buy into the community, the values that we have, the game that we have. It's fun. It's exciting for them. It's a world that they can escape to where they feel like they belong. And like you say, there's the bonus of potentially you could actually earn something, but you're not doing it for that reason. There's a whole other like 10 reasons you want to come in here, and that's the one that's a bonus potentially. So I actually really, really like that that shift. And honestly, that's kind of why from the marketing side of things, I'm personally trying to hold up on the Web2 like gamers until we have a proper product. Because again, giving them a product like where it's at now, it's just gonna, once the bridge is burnt, it's a lot harder to keep them like, to have them come back, right? It's like, all right, patience is a thing. Like we're building, we know it's going to be right when the time is right. Like the analogy I used recently was like timing is so important. If you go to a restaurant and you order a cake and it's half done, you're not going to be happy. So you've like given the product too early. But then if you order like a Coca-Cola and you let it sit for an hour and then you present it, it's going to be distilled, the water's there, so you've presented it too late. And presenting that product is very, very like the timing is so important, and it's a very hard thing to get right. And I think we really need to be cautious of that moving forward.
100%. I do agree. I do agree about it. So like, and this is why we got our marketing team. So
I think the Pokemon cards example used was actually really interesting because it was like that for a long time. People just bought Pokemon cards because they liked Pokemon cards and so on and so forth. And eventually it came out that people could make money from them, right? And as soon as that came out, it increased the amount of Pokemon cards people were buying. That was the reality of it. It didn't really matter what the Pokemon company wanted, and they managed to actually dilute the supply a bit and turn a profit off of that, and people still bought up loads of them. But it still got a lot of attention, and then a lot more people bought into it as well. So there's an element of that that's probably going to happen whether or not you market it that way. And I think that's going to give Illuvium a boost. I don't know if that will be sustained or long term, but it will be an impact for the entire ecosystem. So that's why it's a really good thing that we're making sure the game is fully ready before releasing it, because you can run into an instance where the game markets itself and all of a sudden it takes off. And if you're not ready for it, like a certain game starting with the letter A, you could run into some serious trouble down the road.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, which is totally fine. Like again, as I said, there is we trying to be covered from both sides, from like money perspective side for certain people, and for for the rest, I'd say most majority is just have a great experience.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to finish this up with, TSG? I've got to get going in 5 minutes.
I think he froze.
Oh yeah, maybe you did. Yeah. I do have to ask. So you touched on it before with the Easter eggs. Have you placed any Easter eggs yourself into the game?
No, I didn't. I didn't yet. There's still an opportunity. Yes, yeah, 100%. Yes, why not? Everyone can. Like everyone can come up with the idea, and 100%.
Can I pitch Easter egg ideas?
What?
Can I pitch Easter egg ideas?
Yeah, well, more than welcome. We'll see if you're going to pass our threshold, but yeah, more than welcome.
I bet Grant's like the gatekeeper. There was one question that was asked before that is really good, and we should probably touch on it. Is James Bardia says, so once everything moved to production, what will your role be? So like, yeah, what are the key areas for things like the artist to be working on as soon as the game's in open beta?
I don't know. I really haven't looked that far in the future. I'm kind of been, heads down and just looking all the short period of time. Didn't really think about. But like, well, again, there always will be because like all the regions at the moment, they are still pretty small. There will be an expansion to the region. There will be like until we reach out to the proper open world where the regions are actually connected. In between. At the moment, they are not. There is a lot of things to do still, and I think just keeping the art direction position, just, guiding the people here and there, steering a little bit where it's needed. But overall, the team is doing an amazing job, and I actually feel great. Like that. So far now, I don't have to do that much myself anymore. So.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, yo. Dmitry, let's wrap this up. And before we do, I've got one last question, one final question, a bit more of a fun question. We always throw this out there of like, what's the next genre of game we want Illuvium to do? If it was up to you, man, what is the next genre that you would like to see?
I want the racing. Yeah, I'm the racing guy. Too. I always played all the kind of Need for Speed and stuff. So yeah, I want to do the racing games.
Yeah, like
how would you do a racing game, like a proper racing game?
Like you mean like a kart racer, right? Like a Mario Kart?
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say like a real
more like a fun one. So it wouldn't make sense. I mean, like
Maybe you could.
Maybe you can invent some vehicles, but it will be a little bit too Star Wars.
Yeah. Pod Racer was a good game, but racing is I think a lot of people want racing. But yeah, all right, cool. Yo, Dmitry, we appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything you want to kind of say before we wrap this up?
Just wait a little bit more for the open beta, and we will be there.
Yeah, awesome. Yo, it's good. It's good, guys. We're working on it. It's almost done. But yo, Dmitry, thank you for honestly everything that you do for the team, man, and everything that you do internally. Like people, I hope they know how hard you work. A lot of this is you pulling some heavy weight. So truly appreciated. Scariox, again, appreciate you for doing this with me every week, man. And everyone that's watching, appreciate you guys. Next week, I believe, should be on my channel, but we'll see. Who knows? We'll keep you guys surprised. But we'll catch you guys later, and peace.
See you guys. Thanks for joining.